I'm Greg Fossen.
I'm Sheila Fossen.
We do the broadcast.
I am Paul Landsittel, and I am your musical spiriteer for today's service.
Yes.
Hey, good to see you, everybody.
So would you?
Something is strange with
Yeah, can you?
the sound.
There's something really wrong with us.
Okay, we can.
We're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay. The purpose of the Center for Spiritual Living North Metro. Oh, I'm doing the invocation first, aren't I? Sorry,
Oh, okay.
different hat. So I just invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And recognize that that breath is spirit breathing each one of us. That there is no place where God is not. That God is in every breath and every thought and everything that we do, everything that we see or can touch. Is the smallest grain of sand out to the largest, farthest star. Is my life, is Reverend Michael's life, it is Greg's life and Sheila's life and Paul's life. It is the life of each one listening to us today, whether it's now or later. It is all that is. And I know that this service unfolds in ease and in grace and in effortlessness and absolute oneness with the one life and the one presence. And in absolute gratitude for knowing this is so, I release it, let it go. And together we say,
And
so it is.
So it is.
Okay, now we get to see it all, huh?
Yeah, yes, this was not.
Let's see, or
I sit down, take a breath, relax, unwind. Don't need any more facts to find peace of mind. Going within, coming out with a grin. Longing for this, just one moment of bliss. Maybe losing my mind just to be aware of the presence within, a quiet prayer. Oh, love divine, blaze within this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, all around this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, I am found in this heart of mine. I dislocated my ego. What a shame. What am I anyway? Just a speck of dust with a name. Out of the great unknown, into flesh and bone. A traveling soul trying to call home. Maybe losing my mind just to be aware of the presence within, a quiet prayer. Oh, love divine, blaze within this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, all around this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, I am found in this heart of mine. The notion of eternity gives off quite a buzz. It's much bigger now than it ever was. I'm just chasing time between Venus and Mars. I take a glass of midnight and drink in the stars. Maybe losing my mind just to be aware of the presence within, a quiet prayer. Oh, love divine, blaze within this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, all around this heart of mine. Oh, love divine, I am found in this heart of mine. Whoa.
Thank you, Paul. I love that song. Every time you play it. Great show.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Love divine.
That's right. So, Love Divine is taking place right in this moment with everybody that's watching and everybody that's participating, everybody on this planet. So we'll see you in a few. We got some business to take care of.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now it's time for our purpose statement. The purpose of the Center for Spiritual Living North Metro is to be a spiritual community, to be supportive to all of those who are seeking support, to practice and live unconditional love, to be non-judgmental and forgiving, to embrace oneness, to join all others who want to co-create a world that works for everyone, all cultures, all races, all sexual orientations, all life.
Yeah, so it is.
So it is. So like us and check in on Facebook at CSL North Metro. You can go to our website, cslnorthmetro.org. You can go to contact us and add yourself to the email list. You can request prayer. The affirmations and the prayer that Stephan Anthony writes every week are available on the website too. And so today's title is
You're Not My Child.
And you've already met our wonderful guest artist, and our wonderful reading, and it is wonderful, is from The Master Speaks by Joel S. Goldsmith.
I'm doing the reading.
Is it Greg Fossen? Sorry.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the affirmations of the week. These affirmations were written by Stephan Anthony. He writes them for us every week. Please repeat after me. I set my intention to fully experience this day's good.
I set my intention to fully experience this day's good.
I always operate at the level of the divine.
I always operate at the level of the divine.
God's creative potential is my reality.
God's creative potential is my reality.
In each new moment, I am a greater expression of myself.
In each new moment, I am a greater expression of myself.
By simply living, the beautiful promise of Spirit's love blesses me.
By simply living, the beautiful promise of Spirit's love blesses me.
There is limitless love and beauty within me now and always.
There is limitless love and beauty within me now and always.
And together we say,
And so it is.
and so it is. Okay, I'll do the reading here. Today's reading is The Master Speaks by Joel S. Goldsmith. Let us assume that there is a shadow on the wall. As we look at it, we can see it as a shadow, and of course we don't hate it, or fear it, or love it. If I thought that the shadow were some kind of an evil presence, I might very well hate it, or fear it. Or if I thought it was a person, I might love it. Knowing it as a shadow, however, I can neither hate, nor fear, nor love it. I look on it with complete indifference, knowing that its only existence is as a shadow, virtually nothingness without substance. When I am called upon for help and recognize that a problem, whether it be physical, mental, moral, financial, there's no more substance than that of a shadow. That is not power. That is not presence. It is not reality. That attitude is what determines my healing ability. That constitutes my degree of Christhood. When I can face any form of disease, sin, lack, limitation, or death, and take the same attitude toward it that I do towards the shadow, with no desire to erase it, no desire to wipe it out, no desire to get rid of it or overcome it or rise above it, no desire to deny it, but merely the ability to look at it and say, you are a shadow, so what? Then harmony is revealed. And together we say,
And so it is.
so it is.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, Greg. Sorry. OMS.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's hear from our beloved Paul Landsittel.
This is the Jimmy Buffett song. One of the last ones I think he wrote before he passed. And he seems to be saying, fear not, my child, bubbles up.
Bubbles up.
When this world starts a-reeling from that pressure drop feeling, and we're just treading water each day, there's a way to feel better, be well set to weather the storms till the sun shines again. When your compass is spinning and you're lost on the way, like a leaf in the wind, friend, hear me when I say bubbles up. They will point you toward home, no matter how deep or how far you roam. They will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know that you are loved. There is light up above, and the joy is always enough. Bubbles up. To my friends who are jolly when melancholy knocks, sometimes they let her in. Sit and tell stories of flops and of glories, ain't half as bad as the bends. Sometimes living is a struggle, multiplied double, but they love it too much for the party to end. Bubbles up. They'll point you toward home, no matter how deep or how far you roam. They will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know that you are loved, and there is light up above, and joy is always enough. Bubbles up. So let's pop a cork for the bright blazing days and the sweet starry nights. Bubbles up. They will point you toward home, no matter how deep or how far you roam. They will show you the surface, the plot and the purpose. So when the journey gets long, just know that you are loved. There is light up above, and joy there is always enough. Bubbles up. Bubbles up. Bubbles up.
Bubbles up.
Exactly.
Thank you, Paul. That's a good song. You
It
shared with
is.
me earlier. You emailed me. When I listened to it, I thought, that's a great song.
It is.
Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
All right, we're going to do our thing now. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
So we're talking about dealing with the illusion of fear, and I felt something moving me with this subject, and brought back just some wonderful memories. And I had this talk kind of outlined what I wanted to say, and then I went looking for a quote I might be able to, be able to use. And coincidentally, this quote came to me, and it's so amazing how it's in sync with some of the things that I wrote and what I'm going to share with you today. So let me start out with the quote. It's by Krishnamurti. And he says, what is needed rather than running away or controlling or suppressing or any other resistance is understanding fear. That means watch it, learn about it, come directly into contact with it. We are to learn about fear, not how to escape from it. Mm. And that's a very powerful statement. We're to learn about fear and not run away from it. And in reality, you really can't run away from it, because as long as you're giving it your attention, it's going to stay alive and just run havoc in your life. Excuse me. Got rid of my notes. It's one of those days. So what I thought, the thought that came to me is, you can use his philosophy or that way of looking at things or dealing with things in other ways, be it fear, be it hate, be it lack, be it envy, be it unforgiveness, any of these things. You can use that philosophy of looking straight into it and connecting with it at the core, so you can see how much of a shadow it is. Because fear is a shadow. It's nothing trying to become something. It can be endless. I can remember a time in my life where here's how a friend of mine who was a comedian put it into words. Said, Michael, you're so paranoid, you water the garden with the light jacket on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. But I was going to I don't know if it was my upbringing because we moved a lot, and I was always trying to be something that helped me fit in. And there was always this fear that I wouldn't fit in. And it kind of carried into my adulthood. Anyway, just recently I started archiving my personal pictures and all these diaries I have, because for some reason I feel maybe someday a great grandkids would be interested in my life. But it was interesting because I have everything piled all over my office and all these little piles and a box full of stuff. And I came across this huge ledger book. It's like a ledger book, but without the columns. And it's, I don't know, it's big. And I found it interesting that I chose that to use as a diary. And it was a diary of my Prac 2 studies. Prac 2 is the second phase of moving into becoming a practitioner within our spiritual teaching. And so all my Prac 2 thoughts and ideas were in this. So I turned the page and was kind of looking through it. And I found this one piece of a memory that took place in my life. And it was dated 12/5/94. 12/5/94, that's pretty long ago. So browsing through it, I started reading it, and I came to it was about fear, coincidentally enough. And I decided to, instead of talking about it, read it directly from my journal, from my diary. And I feel sometimes, a lot of times, that when we share our journeys and our understandings of certain things, the experiences we have when we're on our spiritual journey, when we're consciously seeking to know God at a deeper level, consciously taking any path that you may need to take on your journey, your personal journey, because your journey is special, is unique, has nothing to do with mine, other than maybe you'll get something from it that is meaningful to you. So I'm going to read excuse me. It wasn't titled, but after reading it all, I figured I should give it a title. And it's called A Trip to Trip in Cambria. One of the things that happened to me on a trip to Cambria, where I took a mixture of herbs and mushrooms that were made in the Amazon, given to a friend of mine by a shaman to challenge my spiritual/human clarity and intentionally look at fear. I had taken the last bit of the mixture when everyone else were coming down from their peak, and I felt restless and wanted to go deeper, but everyone else was in a playing mood, and I didn't seem to fit in. It was dark, cold outside, but I had this calling to be with nature. So I left everyone else in the cabin cooking and having fun while I went out and faced fear. I walked a long ways with the flashlight out, of course. I'm going to add this. I felt that I needed to just allow the Spirit to take me wherever I was going. When I wrote this, I wrote it in simplicity. I didn't, I just kind of wrote what was necessary. So I felt less and want to go deeper. I wasn't in a playing mood. It was dark and cold outside, but I had a calling to be with nature. So I left everyone else in the cabin cooking and having fun and went out and faced fear. I walked a long ways with the flashlight off, of course. And until I found a place, I walked a long ways until I found a place to sit. I got comfortable, making sure to bundle up. I didn't want to be stupid and strip off all my clothes, like you would imagine some people doing. And that way I grounded it. And that way I was grounded and stable. I was totally in the dark. There was no moon that night. And to compound the lack of light, it was overcast. There wasn't a single star to see. At first I was truly scared because I kept hearing these strange noises, which was only magnified by the influence, herbs and mushrooms, I was under. But I got beyond that and suddenly felt free. And it was incredible because the fear was really scary. I'm adding this now, away from my notes. The fear was really, really scary because some of the noises felt like animals. And I can't tell you how utterly fearful I was. So when I get to this moment where everything just seemed to go away, and I suddenly felt free, something came over me that I don't even know how to explain in human terms, but I definitely went through some kind of conscious shift, and that's when this occurred. It was like from a mental chaos into a serene calm. Then right over my right shoulder, so it seemed, came this distant drum. At first I thought it was my own heartbeat amplified by the herbs I had taken, but then I realized my heart was way calm, so it wasn't that. Then as the drum got louder, I heard Native Americans chanting again from my right side, and distant. I thought, carries the fire, aka Snake Woman, aka Judy Love. This was a person that took me on a vision quest earlier in my life, and it got me started in this whole philosophy. She came into mind, and she had told me that when she went down under as a shaman, someone would have to beat a drum for her so she could return. It must be steady and never changing rhythm. The drumming and the chanting I heard was calling me back to my body, telling me the time was near. Then from an inner voice I heard, "You are done. Go back to the cabin because everyone is concerned." I knew this was real because I wasn't scared and I was ready to go back. I wondered, where did the drum come from? When I finally got back to the cabin, everyone was happy to see me. They had been concerned and were discussing going out to look for me. My inner voice was right. The next day, my good friend, Sherry, who's also Native American, called me 3 times, told me that she called me 3 times during that same time I was having an experience. So here, this individual, I'm off script here. Here's this individual who I was very close with, who would always show up at times when I was going through something not pleasant, like divorce, and was always there. But in the invisible, she tried calling me 3 times during this time that I was going through all this. Deep, and this go back to the journal, deep within me, I believe it was her ancestors protected me that night, making sure I didn't go too deep without any guidance. And what that experience taught me was fear is nothing. And what happens when you face it, or do as Krishnamurti says, just get in direct contact with it, it shifts into something else. So, so what took place, what I saw as fear shifted into me experiencing the timeless, spaceless joy of life, the oneness of it all. That she was concerned enough during the time that I was going through this and facing fear that she called me 3 times. And even now I'm getting chills thinking about how beautiful Spirit is. That if you face anything that's negative in your life and just see it as the nothingness that it is, then generally something more magnificent comes from it, because you're emptying a space that's occupying your mind, your heart, and your soul. You're emptying it, and it must be filled with something. So it's always something good that fills that space. I sought to face fear, and the fear turned into this connection I had with my friend, and how clear I am that we're never alone, that there's always someone that is there, whether they're physically or spiritually, it matters not. So this is, again, a great memory. I hope that means something to you and you get something out of it. Even if it's just keep experimenting with your spirituality. Keep testing yourself. Keep looking at the depth of your being and see where something needs cleared away. Ask for it. It'll be given to you. But just keep on keeping on. Because living a spiritual life is like a joy. Because nothing that may confront you, challenge you, can ever have any power over you. Just know that you're loved, and love yourself. I think it's
So the first thing I thought of when I saw that fear was in the title, so I think I remember something about that, and it's false evidence appearing real.
mm-hmm.
And so I think we all spend some time worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet, worrying about not being accepted, worrying about making mistakes. And I just want to remind us all that all of our thoughts are creative, and we're creating from what we're thinking. So there are a couple quotes I want to read. This one is from Ernest Holmes. No one imposes fear upon us. Rather, we create for ourselves through our thoughts and emotions. We have just as much freedom to eliminate fear as we have in creating it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think sometimes when we're caught up, I'm pretty sure when I'm caught up in that fear, it feels really real to me. And this bad thing is going to happen, or if I don't get this thing done, then this is going to happen, and it's all going to be terrible. And I had a thing this week, so I'm supposed to turn in my timesheet for the Signs of Mind archives, like at the 15th and the end of the month, and we didn't have internet on Friday, and so I didn't work. It's a work day, and I didn't work, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought, this is the end of the month, and I haven't turned in my timesheet. I'm going to be really in trouble. And it's the middle of the night. It's like, here's me worrying. There's really, I could get up and do it now, but so finally, like, it's really, I was able to talk myself out of, and so it's not the end of the world. So the worst thing that can happen is I won't get paid for 2 weeks. It'll be later. And, might be a little inconvenient, but I'm not going to die, and nothing really terrible is going to happen to me. And so I really can let this go and go back to sleep. So I get up in the morning, I go put my time in, I contact the person to let her know I had done it. She's like, oh, I'm not sending it in until today. I think that is a really good example of what we do to ourselves when we make stuff up.
Mhm.
And so it's like I was making this, and I think all of those things that for me they amplify in the middle of the night. When I wake up with something like that I should have taken care of during the day, then my mind just really amplifies it. So I have to do a lot more work in the middle of the night to work myself through it than I would in the day where I could just go take care of it or do something else. So I was really enjoying David Alt's daily conversations in the Science of Mind magazine this month. I'm going to miss him, but this was Saturdays, just a piece of it, and about misremembering who we are. We come from the non-dual, the one, and take a body in the land of the two, us and them. And the misremembering begins. We buy into the idea that we are separate. To remember is to reawaken from this hypnotizing illusion of duality and accept we, just as we are divine. I just think that's so beautiful. It's like I probably need to tape it to the side of my bed so I can shine a light on it in the middle of the night when something might come up. And I find it so strange that those thoughts, well, I guess because during the day we're busy and at night we're not busy. And so we wake up and so the first thing that bubbles up is, whoa, you forgot to do this thing. Or, whoa, you didn't, blah, 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 blah. And so I just, it's like, maybe I'll just tape it to my bed and I can just read it when I go through things like that. And I always know I'm okay. My mind likes to convince me that something else, because the mind likes to stay busy. It really likes to stay busy. And if we aren't giving it something positive to chew on, it'll just be really happy to chew about other things. So what do we worry about? We worry about things that haven't happened. We worry about not being accepted. We worry about making a mistake and then maybe getting in trouble. And I make enough of them. And, I had somebody who made a mistake the other day on a project we were working on, and she just apologized. And I'm like, it's really okay. I don't know anybody who doesn't make mistakes, and you found it and fixed it. It's fine. And we just need to tell ourselves, because all of our thoughts are creative, and so we can either be creating what we do want, or we can be creating what we don't want. And so think about it this way. How much good can you accept? How much do you think you can achieve? How much abundance can you have? How much health? How much happiness? And what are ways that we can do? What are things that we can do to, when we're having a situation like that, where we're in a place of doubt, or where we think we've made a mistake, or where we're worrying, or we're fearful of what the outcome of something's going to be, what are some things we can do? Well, one of the things we can do is talk about it to someone, because even saying it out loud sometimes makes me realize how foolish it is. And in the talking about it, my friend, she just let it out. And then we just said, everybody makes mistakes. You found it, you fix it. It's okay. Like, go back to your life. And then we can stop. We can also meditate. We can also do a spiritual mind treatment. We can go for a walk. But, nature is such a healing thing. It's just such a healing thing. I can remember when my friend was I don't know what kind of a health practitioner she was dealing with. And that person told her to go hug a tree every day. And at the time, I thought that was a little bit odd. Well, that was before. And then I can remember that time when we were in Vancouver and we were out in this enormous forest and three of us couldn't get our arms around that great big tree to hug it. And so it's just very grounding. And I don't think I've done it with my grandsons, but I certainly did it with my granddaughters when they were going through something or doing something. We just go out and hug a tree. So tell somebody, maybe realign the expectations that we think we need to be perfect and that we can never make a mistake. Maybe just remember that what we think about, we create. And so while we're thinking about what we don't want, or we're creating what we don't want, and we are powerful, powerful beings. We have that's how we are made, that as we think, then we make that. And so we have the opportunity to really begin to focus on what we do want. Think about what we do want. Take steps towards what we do want. And when we find ourselves in that place of worry, in that place of fear, in that place of blaming ourselves or others, we have the opportunity to take a breath, to focus on the beat of our heart, to hug somebody. And if there's nobody home, hug a tree. And we have the opportunity to create that world that works for us and that works for everybody.
Just take a moment and think about something that you're dealing with, that you're not sure about, that may be challenging you. Maybe it has to do with some other person who had some sort of effect on you. Maybe it has to do with the loss. Maybe it has to do with thinking about something that you don't want to think about. And just look at it for a second. See it as something. See it as a clock on the wall. And as the clock keeps ticking away seconds, see this thing that's troubling you right now just fading into nothingness. And at one point, discover the freedom that you feel by looking at this shadow and knowing it's nothing. And that's when the hand stops, wherever it stops. And just sit and visualize that. You can use that at any time. Because whatever it takes to trick the mind, do it. Because you have the power of the mind. The mind doesn't have the power of you unless we give it to it, unless we allow it to keep on creating these things that don't exist. You have the power. You are the power. So fear not, my child. All is well. Always will be. Always is. Right now, God is. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Let's pray. So I just invite you to let go. Let go of your thoughts. Whether they're still flowing through you. Let go means don't attach to them. Just let them pass through. And just as somebody may come up and tell you something bad about yourself, just say, thank you for sharing, and move on. So together, let us recognize the essence of all life, the truth of all creation, and that is God. God, the perfect expression of life. For it is life. It is all life. It is the life of the smallest molecule. It is the life of the largest galaxy. It's all one thing. One may be bigger than the other, but in God's mind, they're just the same. So let's tap into that sameness, that oneness, that allness, that perfection that you and I are. We are divine children of the Most High. We are the answers. We are the solutions. We are the vision, and so much more. I declare this for myself, for Reverend Valerie, for Sheila and Greg, for Paul, for all those who are part of our spiritual center, whether here or someplace else, and for this planet. I declare the truth that in this oneness, all is well. So let us just tap into this wellness and know that that thing that you may want to let go of is gone. You don't even have to say goodbye. Just let it float into the nothingness from which it came and claim our reality. Claim what it is we want in our life and know that it is so right here and right now. So I send out light and love to everybody who is in the presence of my voice, knowing the truth that sets you free, that you are the perfect child of spirit. This I know to be true. This I accept for us all. This is done. So I say thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
It is done.
It's done.
I let it be.
I let it be.
And so it is.
So it is.
Soul is the feeling deep within. Soul is not the color of your skin. Soul is the essence from within. Soul is where it all begins. Soul is what you've been through, what you're going through, what's true for you, what you're gonna do. Soul is your station for the folk of your nation. Soul is something that you wear with pride. Soul can be your religion or something that's hidden. It's not something that you have to hide. Soul is what you've been through, what's true for you, where you're going to, what you're gonna do. Soul is a feeling deep within. Soul is where everything begins. Soul is the essence from within. Soul is where everything begins. Soul is where everything begins.
not familiar with that song.
That was a Van Morrison song.
Yeah. He was around in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, he's been around since the 60s. I mean, he's got a lot of good songs. This one was kind of an obscure song I just kind of stumbled on in my Apple Music, and I thought, yeah, soul is where everything begins.
Yeah.
A great song.
Yeah, good stumbling. I love the stumbles of life. All right, we're going to do some business, and we'll get back to you for your final song. So, soul is the essence of who we are. I love words when they're put into such great expression. And we can express in so many different ways. Right now, we're asking you to express your gratitude for anything you got from the service today by sharing something with us. It could be a phone call. It could be a text, an email. It can be a generous gift. All these things of which you gives back something to you. So just know that as we shine our light towards the basket, and repeat after me. I'm so grateful for my life.
I am so grateful for my life.
I'm so grateful for the life of my family and friends.
I am so grateful for the life of my family and friends.
I'm so grateful for my spiritual community.
I am so grateful for my spiritual community.
I'm so grateful for all those who believe in peace.
I'm so grateful for all those who believe in peace.
I'm so grateful that I can now give from my heart.
I'm so grateful that I can now give from my heart.
No attachments.
With no attachments.
Asking nothing in return.
Asking nothing in return.
Just freeing myself.
Just freeing myself.
Upon the Spirit of the living God.
On the Spirit of the living God.
For this and so much more.
For this and so much more.
I say thank you.
I say thank you.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Oh.
Yeah, another song from Paul.
There it is.
This is Blessed Duality. Good morning, sunshine. Daybreak just in time. My heart knows how to change my mind. I surrender without a fight. For today's revelation will be my celebration. Run, spirit, run through my imagination. Yin and yang, dark and light, opposites unite. Creation lives inside of me with any possibility. I am praying attention. I clear the way. Set my intention by the light of day. For now is the turning point. I'll take a spin. I feel the change coming when I begin. Yin and yang, dark and light, opposites unite. Creation lives inside of me with any possibility. Baba dabba doo bam bam bada doo da 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 doo baba doo da da da. Flash of light, quick insight comes over me. I take a step, walk on faith into uncertainty. yin and yang, dark and light, opposites unite. Creation lives inside of me. Any possibility, any possibility.
That's a great song, Paul.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
you want to tell them about? Hey,
Great song, Paul. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Very creative.
I'm talking about too.
I was
The
gonna wait for
imagination.
something to share first.
Okay.
Have anything you want to share before I talk about Zoom?
I don't think so. I think let my music do the talking.
Yeah.
All right.
I liked hearing your spiritual journey
That was awesome.
straight from your experience when it happened. It was neat.
That was cool.
Yeah. What's important? We've been talking about memory lately, and hearing people say that memory most of the time isn't truth. That we forget certain things and we add certain things and it becomes something different. That's why for me it was important. And I wrote this the next day, so I got what was happening, and I didn't have to rely on the memory of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
very
idea.
Cool. Very cool.
So journey
I didn't forget.
your spiritual journey is important. It's an important thing for your own benefit.
And remember, Valerie, I liked the idea of speaking. Sometimes when something is bothering you, get it out. And when you talk it over with somebody, it does help.
It does. Or even if you write it down. Yeah. Just if there's nobody around. But yeah, just get it out, let it stuff.
Yeah.
It just kind of magnifies. The more you think about it, the bigger it gets.
Yeah. And when you can listen to yourself out loud, sometimes you figure it out a lot better than if you're mulling it over and over with not. But it does help a lot of times with another person.
It really does.
It exposes the truth.
Yeah.
What was that?
It exposes the truth.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great service. Great
Yeah.
music.
Good message.
Thank you. I'm really glad I did it this week. For all of you that have been bearing with us, I think Xfinity finally got everything fixed.
Yeah, it's great. Today is great.
Good.
Yep.
So we invite you to join us on Zoom right after the service. The link's in the comments, and if you miss it there, it's also on our website, cslnorthmetro.org. So we'd love to see you and have a conversation with you following the service.
Come and share some of your journeys.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do a closing prayer now.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can put up with my voice. I sound like an alien.
You're fine.
Okay, close your eyes. Once again, returning to that sacred place within, the place that knows no fear, that knows no lack, that only knows harmony and joy and abundance and prosperity and creativity. Right at the core of your being, that's what you are. That's who you are, the perfect emanation of the Most High. So I bless each and every person within the sound of my voice, listening at this broadcast. I bless you and know that whatever you ask for, you shall have. Whatever you seek, you shall find. Whatever door you knock on shall be open to you. So step through, accept your good, know that all is well all the time, no matter what challenges may come. Know that you are a perfect child of God, and nothing can hurt, harm, and endanger you ever. Know this to be true for yourself as I hold it for you all. and with a sense of gratitude that these words are already showing up in your experience, I release, I let go, and I simply allow it to be. And together we say,
And so it is.
So it is.
Hallelujah.
All right. See you on Zoom.
Okay.
Hallelujah.